From founding Vrvana to playing a key role in Apple's Vision Pro, and now co-founding Triptyq Capital. Please welcome Bertrand Nepveu.
I want to be helping the next generation to fulfill their vision and ambition. I never thought I would be a VC. I started crying because I saw all the journey and the hard work and the near-death experience, and I never thought that, like, one of the things I'm the most proud of is, like, I can go in any Apple store in the world and see something I put so much energy into, like, that's available to the world, which is kind of surreal.
Again, amazing journey. And really, if I summarize the story, it's a story of persistence, imagination, and purpose. Welcome to Reimagining You, the podcast where leaders, builders, and creators reflect on what happens when the title fades and what it really means to build a brand that leads with purpose, not just credentials. With over 90,000 subscribers and 500,000 views in about 4 months, this is a space for global professionals exploring influence beyond the business card into legacy, voice, and transformation. I'm your host, Dr. Eli Daher, and today we have a very special guest, a visionary entrepreneur whose journey has literally shaped the future of immersive technology. From founding Vrvana, the company behind the Totem headset, to playing a key role in Apple's Vision Pro, and now co-founding Triptyq Capital. Please welcome Bertrand Nepveu. Bertrand,
Hello.
it's such a pleasure to have you.
Likewise. Thanks for having me.
You know, it's rare to find a person like you who has done quite a bit of innovation that has attracted the eyes and ears of Apple, for example, with the Vision Pro, and continue on the momentum. But I want to start by, and I did actually ask you this when we first discussed. When I was doing a bit of research about you, 30 years ago, you were a great ski instructor. I wish you have taught me skied back then. But, you know, you have the wind in your face, snow under your feet. Did you ever imagine that path would one day lead you to co-founding a venture capital firm, investing in cutting-edge immersive tech, and not only that, winning CES awards and joining Apple Vision Journey and becoming a driving force behind the Quebec metaverse movement? Tell me about this.
Yeah, I think I'm someone who's driven by passion. So skiing was a passion of mine. It was a family tradition. We would ski like every weekend, uh, like Christmas, even like school break. Uh, and I also come from an entrepreneurial family, so I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So to answer your question, like, would I have thought I would be a VC? Never, because I was more on the innovative side, building, inventing. That was more what I would envision I would do. But I think I'm also very passionate about entrepreneurship, and I want to be helping the next generation to fulfill their vision and ambition. And I just got the opportunity to go into VC. I never thought I would be a VC, but I also like to seize opportunity when it comes. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm doing angel investing. And I see there's a need for seed stage. So we founded Triptyq Capital now 4 years ago. Took us 18 months to fundraise. Now we're investing in the space. It's been 3 years, and I love it.
Great. I guess, every person has a mission, and this mission evolves in time. So you started with your own ambition, the ambition, okay, at back the time you had the passion, skiing, then entrepreneurship, then you evolved around that. Uh, but also part of your passion fuels maybe some curiosity around that. Why, you want to discover new things, you want to learn new things, you want to develop new things. So I'm going to ask you what sparked your mission back then when Totem was born? And how does this mission mature through Apple and Triptyq? Give me the journey of the development of that mission. And that tell you why, because our audience are professionals, or even Gen Zs, and all the way up to professionals. And we always start with the first phase of personal branding, which is finding your mission. And a lot of people have difficulty identifying what's this mission. Is mission is a passion? Is mission is an ambition? Do I look at 5 years from now? What is mission and how does this evolve?
Yeah, my mission was a bit selfish at the beginning. It was just to make my games better. So I was passionate about skiing, but I was also passionate about gaming. And it took me a bit of time to understand why. So I found out at 40-year-old through my son that I'm dyslexic. So I think video games was the best way for me to learn. I didn't know I was learning. It was just fun,
Oh,
but then
interesting.
great games are based on real life scenarios, problematics, economics,
Hmm.
um, physics, whatever. Tomb Raider is one of my favorite games, and you have puzzles. Sure, you have fighting, things like that, which is pretty typical in gaming, but it's more than that. You need to understand physics to solve their puzzles and things like that. I love Civilization, which is like macroeconomics, politics, so many things, skills that you learn that will be valuable later. Um,
Hmm.
I was really enjoying games, also perseverance, because now it's a bit different. The gaming is more free to play and things like that. But back in the day, it was more storytelling, and you really needed to persevere. Like first time you have the boss, you don't beat it, then you learn, you see patterns, and
Okay.
then you evolve. So I was really liking the gaming aspects. So at first it was just let's start Vrvana to make the game experience even better, being more
Mm.
immersive, being in the game instead of playing on a screen. And I was 27 when I started Vrvana. Now I'm 48. So I evolved. So to go back to your question, like, did it evolve with time? It sure did. Um, when I became a father, yeah, I learned more about myself, like dyslexia, ADHD, which kind of makes you curious because when you're ADHD, you're seeking new experiences all the time. So it's
Mm.
good because you're always refining your world model through new experiences. A bit like now LLMs are all the we talk
Yeah.
about, but the more data you have, the better, your world model and your understanding of the world is better. So I think um, I was fortunate to travel a lot when I was young, skiing, all that. And that made me curious, and I'm still curious right now, learning more. Um, and um, we started really for gaming, but then I also did it. So I have a background in engineering, so I can build stuff. I also have an MBA, and the MBA gives you, at least for me, gave me kind of a macro view of the
Mm.
economy. I was really a geek, only reading technical news and things like that. And the MBA kind of broadened my horizon to also learn about interest rate, trends, all
Yeah.
this. the stuff that makes the world go round. Um, so that brought me also tools to better manage Vrvana, so that when we saw
Mm,
trends shifting, competitors, things like that, we went from B2C gaming to a B2B experience where um, we knew we couldn't compete on price with Oculus that was bought by Facebook. So we kind of had to pivot into B2B and go from consumer prices to more enterprise. So we could sell, instead of
mm,
selling our headset for $600, we could sell it for $5,000. So we were able to
mm,
have the best parts available in the market in our headset. And that's how we won Best in Show at CES, like you mentioned earlier. Um, and then that put us in the limelight for Apple, and they were working on their own project internally, and they said, "Look, why don't you come help us build a Vision Pro?" So that's
okay.
when uh, me and my colleagues we moved to Silicon Valley, which was always a dream of mine.
Mm,
When I was young, I would admire Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. And all those builders, and to have the opportunity to go at the tech mecca of the world. I was very excited about it, and it was a great experience. But then, for family reasons, we decided to come back. Uh, you know, um, French is part of our culture and heritage, and I was glad that my son learned English so fast in the States. But then it was also, even though he was going at a French American school and speaking French each day, after the day was in French, and we would only speak French at school. He was starting to lose his French. So we, during the pandemic, there was an opportunity to come back in Canada, which we
mm,
did, and start. I it was I was an entrepreneur, of course. So I became an entrepreneur. So I started the R&D office of Apple in Montreal.
oh,
Um,
okay.
so
Cool.
that was an interesting milestone. Um, and then I was starting to doing angel investment, and that's when I saw the opportunity and also the need, like, because for me, like, entrepreneurs are my tribe. That's when that's discussion with the entrepreneur is really where I have the more fun, and it makes me like, as a curious person, like, when you talk about with entrepreneurs, they bring you a different perspective. Usually, they're very um, they understand very well their market. So you also, like, it's an exchange, and you learn from them. So I was like, okay, yeah, maybe a VC. I never thought about being a VC, but it kind of makes sense that it's like a natural progression. I think that in Silicon Valley, which for me is the best practices in tech, and building world-changing companies, uh, most of there is entrepreneurs who start VCs because they have the scars and the experience
Yes.
uh, to guide the next generation. The analogy I make, I'm a big hockey fan. It's like the Montreal Canadian coach Martin Saint Louis. He's an ex player. So he was very good player, won championship, won like best scorer of the league, and then now he transitioned to being a coach. And I think that he has more credibility because of it,
Yes.
with the players. And it's always the players that will win championship. The coach can help do the strategy and motivate people, so they have
And
the
that's what you
they
do
bring.
now, right?
Yeah, exactly. I try to bring the best out of
Yeah.
people, know what drives them, and how to facilitate. that. So yeah, for me, without being the master plan, it kind of came into like I'm a big believer in the law of attraction. I think if you really want something and you're putting energy into it, like you'll receive opportunity related
Yes,
to what you want to do. And then it's up to you to seize it. It's not magical. It
yes.
won't come easy, but you'll have the opportunity. And then if you work towards that goal, it will happen.
Excellent. Well, that's a great summary of your journey, which is fantastic. I've got two things, right? The first one, a comment on, or a question on your journey. Now that you are in the VC side helping other entrepreneurs, um, does entrepreneurship have an age? I've seen young people don't really want to do the 9 to 5 job. They are dreaming always being an entrepreneur. My son is included, right? Uh,
They
so
don't want 9 to 5, but then they have 996,
exactly.
nine
I
to
mean,
nine, six days a week. So,
9 to 9,
but
6 days.
you're on your own boss, so it's a bit different. Yeah.
Yes. So, do you think this is a trend? Why do you think the young people are into entrepreneurship, not people like my age or your age, 48? And why do you think that?
I think because as we get older, we have more to lose. As
True.
we get older,
Absolutely.
we have more wealth, we have our status, we have all the things we build. And then entrepreneurship, it's thrilling, but it's hard, you know? And I think we become a bit more risk averse when we grow up. Um, and then when you're young, you don't have a family yet, you don't have a mortgage, you just have crazy ideas, and you don't know what you don't know, which is sometimes good
Yes.
because with
Yes.
experience, sure you'll make less mistake, but if you made mistake in the past, you will maybe say, "Oh, I did it. It won't work," but then it might work because technology has changed, the market has changed, so many things has changed that might make it possible now. So I think that's why, like, and let's face it, you also need a lot of energy when you're an entrepreneur because you work long hours. So I think it's a combination of things. I think that makes maybe the younger generation more inclined to be entrepreneurial. Uh, but I've seen also success story of older people um, with a deep knowledge and co-founders that are younger, you know,
Mm.
that can be very successful. So I don't think it's a one size fit all, but I think that when you're younger, you have more winning condition to be an entrepreneur.
Hmm. True. True. And as you get older, you are trapped in what
Hmm.
I call the comfort trap.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, you described it pretty well, but you have risks, liabilities, and comfort and status and all this, and you are really trapped into that golden cage. But sometimes it's giving you comfort, but it'll never get you to fulfill your ambition and your passion, right? So how do you
Yeah,
break
one
loose
one of
from
my
your
favorite motto that
yeah?
I always say on LinkedIn is comfort is the enemy of success. If you come
Yes.
too comfortable, you won't push hard. You'll stay in your comfort zone, which is normal. I think we like comfort. Uh, but then comfort doesn't change the world.
Yes, but think about it as in the sports, right? If you don't stress your body, you're not going to improve.
Yeah,
So
you
you're
won't make
giving the
muscles
hockey
if you don't push it. Yeah,
exactly, or it doesn't build your cardiovascular or
yeah,
anything. You need to stress your system to improve. So that's
I
exactly
agree.
right. The second comment or observation I want to have, and this is probably a debate. So you're 48. You said that you've been injured during your journey. So is the other. people that have gone through this journey. And now you are mentoring, you're advising, you're investing into the VC world. One of the dangers I see is the what has worked with you, what has not worked with you 20 years ago when you were 28 might not be the same at 48.
Mm-hmm.
I learned it the hard way myself. So I'm 62 and I have 5 generations in the workplace. And sometimes I use what have worked with me 20 or even 30 years ago. This is how we do it. This is how we manage. This is how we talk. This is how we strategize. This is how we win. But today, the whole world has changed. The availability of tools, of strategies, different methods, even mindsets have completely changed. So if I'm stuck in the past and I apply it here, I will also lose. And if I listen to the younger generation, let's say my Gen Z people, I have to be humble to listen to them. It's not that this is how it is done, this is how it's going to be successful. No, I'm going to be humble. Okay, my method was in the past. Maybe there's a better way. Tell me more and let's debate it and let's learn. Now back to you. You're 48, 20 years ago, 28. Things have worked, things have not worked, and you're using those as your lessons. When is the time you think for you to start maybe unlearn some of the old ways that have worked and relearn maybe from the young generation that you're investing with or guiding? Is this a good statement? Does it apply to you? Does it apply to your world or it doesn't?
Yeah, of course it does. Like, especially in VC, you need to be open-minded and humble. That your ways are not the same. And to be honest, one of my best market research person is my son because he's 15. He so and I'm investing in entertainment. So our thesis is in entertainment. Uh
Okay.
we're Because of my background in immersive technology, we have uh maybe 1/3 of our investment who are in XR. Uh,
Okay.
so and he's been because of my background, he's been doing VR since he's 3 years old. So like,
Wow.
yeah, he was crazy. He started on the DK1. I showed him Titan of Space, which was like the solar system and everything. And
Wow.
it fascinated me that even at 3 years old, he could understand he was seeing the solar system. Um, so so he's been in this space for a long time. So last night at the supper, or the dinner, I asked him like, hey, have you heard about this game? Like he's like, Dad, it's not popular anymore. It was popular 3 months ago, but then they didn't update the game, so like now it's not popular. So I think by being open minded and like really wanting to understand the perspective of other generation, like we tend to like, I think it was Socrates or Platon that would say, oh, the youth, they're useless. Like it's been like that for so long that we tend to say, oh, like the younger generation is doomed, but it's their reality, and their
Mm,
reality will become the norm because they'll grow older and then have work, but they've been formatted like with their experiences. Like that's how you, like, your personality is really formed into adolescence where you have more free time. You can experience a lot of things. Um, and then it will become the new cultural norm of the future. So and that's one of the reasons, like I had the opportunity to go 2 weeks in Silicon Valley with students from HEC Montreal, and they were mostly in their 20s. Um, like they were mostly at bachelor, but also a few at master. But it's also a way to spend a lot of time with people in their 20s. That's when
Mm,
you really learn their concerns, what they're excited about.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah, it's a challenge, I would say. It doesn't come easy, but yeah, you need to push yourself to spend time with them.
Excellent. Excellent. Um, no, I mean, yeah, I reflect you've got the same challenge that I do, and that pretty much everybody as maturity comes, they have the same challenge because unless you really reflect and understand what the young generation, and you're doing it correctly, you're listening to them, you listen more than you impose or guide, and that's key. Now I want to take you to the emotional moment when you have been entrepreneur with Apple. You and your colleagues have developed the Vision Pro. After several months, I don't know how long did it take.
A lot of
What was
years.
a lot of years? Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
right.
I think internally their project started in 2016, and then they shipped in 2024. So yeah, it took them
Wow,
like 8 years.
wow. So the first time you went to the store and you picked
Hmm.
up Vision Pro in
Yeah,
your hand,
yeah.
well, what did go on in your heart and mind when you saw it in the
I
store? You
started
really
crying
picked it up.
because I saw all the journey and the hard work and the near death experience, and I never thought that like one one of the things I'm the most proud of is like I can go in any Apple store in the world and see something I put so much energy into, like that's available to the world, which is kind of surreal. But as I said, like I believed a lot of attraction, and because I was so guided through Steve Jobs' mentality of simplifying things, and like um I didn't know, but he was dyslexic too, probably ADHD too. So I think you're drawn to personality maybe that resonate with you. Um so I never really had a real business mentor. Um Besides my dad, who really helped me, but like someone from the industry, like it was really hard from Montreal doing hardware, gaming hardware, B2C. Like there was not that many role models. Maybe like Matrox was a company that I really admired, because when I was in university, the Matrox Millennium was the best card on the planet in 2D. Uh, and it was made from Montreal. So I was like, oh, this is
Okay.
awesome. Um, but yeah, so when I had like tough decision to make, I would always say, what would Steve Jobs do? And so I
Okay.
think that
Nice.
maybe because I was trying to design a product that would be something that Apple would do, it kind of makes sense that
Mm,
Apple would be interested in what we were building. Um, and then yeah, when to go back to the emotion stuff, is like when and I had to drive to Albany, New York, because it only launched in the US first. And people were like, what, they didn't send you one? I'm like, no, this is not in the Apple culture. Apple is they don't like to do favors and things like that. So yeah, since I left Apple, I was not um I didn't have access to any of their resources. So yeah, I drove to Albany with a friend who wanted to live the moment with me. And then I arrived in the store, and I don't know why, but the guy there recognized me, and he's like, "Oh
Oh,
my
really?
God, you're Bert, and you were one of the main contributor to the Vision Pro and things like that." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you." I didn't know that in Albany, out of every place, the guy would recognize me, and then he went to get his manager, and then they gave me a kind of a VIP experience. But yeah, just to see the headset in the store brought me a lot of emotion. So like that's the first time I got tears in my eyes, and then when I tried the demo, of course, because my team worked on a very hard problem on the Vision Pro to make sure that the video feed that you see the real world is as realistic as possible. And it's a big technical challenge because the cameras and the eyes, of course, are not at the same place. So you need to reproject in real time the world so
Hmm.
that your brains doesn't say, "Oh, there's something wrong." Um, so when I left Apple, we were really, I would say, at 80% of solving that problem. But there, as we know, the last 20% is the hardest. Um, so I was delighted when I saw the final result. So that was kind of the second time I really got emotional. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. So we talked about the emotions.
Hmm.
I'm going to ask you about the lessons, failures, lessons, difficulties that you can share with us that you stumbled upon. And what did you, let's focus on the key lessons you've learned through this whole journey. What did you take
Hmm.
away that you can share with
Yeah.
the viewers and audience?
I think one lesson I learned is when you do deep tech, and that's what we did. You need to be very frugal, and we were frugal. We were frugal because we had no money. But I think that even if you have money, you need to still be frugal because one, deep tech takes always more time than you think, and there's also a macro perspective that you don't control. So it's better to start early and be frugal and build and learn and polish and improve. And then for us, the macro event was Oculus getting bought by Facebook for 3 billion. So we started in 2005. We were 4 co-founders. So that's another lesson. I have co-founders because if you're alone, sure, um, you have less friction, let's say, between partners and things like that. But that friction is really important because it brings perspective. It brings
Hmm.
different point of views that you might not have seen. You can share also the stress, the responsibilities, and all that. So that's really important. But be frugal so that like you don't know exactly when things will pick up. Um, for us was we tried to raise money in 2013, and in Canada we're very risk averse, so people were like, "Yeah, we're not sure that VR is gonna happen. Yeah, it failed in the 90s. Why would it happen now?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, there's a startup called Oculus. They're doing pretty well. I think that it will happen." And then in 2014, when they got bought, that's when like the investors really come in. So that's why I say you need to be frugal because you don't know when investor will finally believe in your vision. Um, Other lesson I learned was like we don't be overconfident. So like you need to be confident, of course, as an entrepreneur. You need to be hard headed. You need to um, focus your limited resources on the right things. But I was convinced that our Kickstarter would be successful. So, um, and because of that, we could have raised more money at the seed stage. But I said, no, we don't need that much. We're gonna do a Kickstarter. It's gonna show that the market, there's a kind of a product market fit. The market wants it, and then we'll raise our Series A. And then what happened is that it was a very successful launch on the first day. Uh, but then 2 days later, Oculus did their first Oculus Connect, which was their big
Mm.
conference. And then they announced a new product that was very similar to our product. So I was so confident, oh, we're so much better. It's going to be a great Kickstarter. And then there's things you don't control. They announced their new version. It was similar to us. And then our Kickstarter flatline after that. And we had to cancel the campaign. But then
Oh.
we didn't have much money. And then we had to took some very hard decision after that. So I would say, yeah, don't be overconfident. Raise more money. Like, never say no to money. Like, if investor they want to give you more money, take it, because you never know what's going to happen in the market. Things you don't
Yes.
control. No.
Okay. Hmm. So I'm now talking about the audience and the viewers we have. Is this, I mean, I think, listening to the story, there is definitely a thrill of accomplishing something in entrepreneurship. I
Hmm.
mean, look at the emotions that happened to you when you went to an Apple store and saw the fruit of your loom right there in the store, right? It's a, it's a, it's a feeling that cannot be compensated with money or anything else. It's really a deep satisfaction.
I would say it's similar to when you have a child. Like,
There you
it
go.
was
As
very
close as that.
emotional
Mm.
when I only have one child, but I always say I sold the first one to Apple, because for me it was really like a child. You see him grow, it falls, and then you and then it learns, and then at one point you're at a point where, okay, it's I can let it go by itself. It's it's good enough.
Mm.
Um, so I think it's very similar emotionally than, yeah, becoming a father. But yeah, it's you need to there's, even with my child, like you, with my son, you try to give them all the tools they need, but then the market decides, or
Absolutely.
like for him,
Absolutely.
it's going to be the world will
Yeah.
the world is what it is. You have not much control over it, and then you need to adapt. And I think a product is the same thing. When you launch a product, you prepare it to be useful, but then the market decides if it's useful.
Yes. So that's the emotional part. But then on the counter, and I don't think in having, being in your comfort trap in your career, I don't know how much emotions you can get out of accomplishment compared to that. So that's really something to compare and reflect on you personally as a viewer and audience. But the second one is the risk, being bold, being risk averse, being able to take on this risk is almost, some people have the need of uncertainty in their life so they can put stress on them, so they can create and be innovative. And I'm just reflecting on some of the books that I read on innovation, and I do design thinking as well. I think the stressors are very important to really fuel innovation. Um, there should be a compelling event. There should be something that pushes you really to. It's not like you're sleeping and then you started thinking of, oh, I want to do this. It's something that triggers that to really
Mm-hmm.
be able to think, reflect, and persist on a long journey, because
Mm-hmm.
this is a long journey. I mean, you're looking at, you guys did 6 years or 8 years even.
Yeah, 8 years
Is
at Apple, but before that, it was 12 years. So it
okay.
took
Here you
us
go.
12
So
years, 2005 to 2017, then 2017 to 20, well, like I left in 2021, but then it shipped in 2024. So took almost like
mm,
19 years to see finally the product in the wild, So yeah, it was that was another very big emotional moment is when I listened to uh the Apple event. I had the feeling it would be revealed there. And then
yeah.
yeah, after 18 years
So
it got revealed,
of course, I mean, it's about time.
Yeah, exactly.
To
That's why I say
launch
it's
it.
like a child.
Yeah, yeah. So we're coming close to the end of our episode. I've got two more questions for you. One is about impact,
Yep.
and I'm going to talk about success and the impact that means to you. What does really impact mean to you? Well, how do you decide what's truly worth building or backing? Um, you said you want to help, you want to impact the younger generation or the entrepreneurs, go through, learn from your pain and then help them succeed. Define impact and success for you.
Yeah, I would say I invest in my preferred future. So
Okay.
for me, impact is you everybody like when you're young, you have lots of time. Um, and as you grow older and even richer, the only thing you cannot buy is time.
Yes.
You can outsource, sure, so you can have more time to do, but you still have 24 hours in a day. Um, so for me, I always try to say, look, I'm gonna focus my limited time on things that will improve the world. Um, but on not just virtue, because there was a lot of virtue signaling and virtue capital in the latest years. Um, it's more like me. I had struggles at school. So for me, immersive technology has the potential to change education because now with AI, we already see it. You can have your own tutor. So you can learn with AI. It's like having a teacher with you all the time. Um, you sure you can use it to do all the work for you, but then you don't learn anything. Or you can use it to bounce ideas, improve your, give you more perspective and things like that. Um, and now as a VC, I try to invest in my preferred future. So if I see a technology that has, because the te- technology is just an amplifier, so
Mm,
it's a powerful tool that it's like a hammer. You can use it to build stuff, or you can use it to destroy stuff. Uh, Technology is a bit the same thing. It's very powerful, and you try to steer it towards positive impact and negative impact. Um, and I think XR has the same potential. It can. Some people thought it would isolate people. Oh, they're going to be in their virtual world. They won't. But what they found out is the youth, they use it for social. All the success in immersive technology is social games. Uh, because when we were younger, we would go hang out in the park with friends and play and things like that. But now I think that because the parents now are more scared to let their kid go in the park without supervision, they prefer for them to go online which they think is safer, but I wouldn't say it's safer online. There's
We'd like to open that subject.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the youth, they still want to hang out with friends, and now they do it in games. So that's why Roblox is so popular. And when I was younger, I would say it was 90% men that would play games. Now on Roblox, it's almost 50-50. They don't play the same games, but now they do most of their social interaction in games.
Mm,
Um, so to go back to your question of impact, I think like with my limited time, I try to, if I put time into a project, is because I feel that it will have a positive impact uh, on the world. Um, and yeah, that we're always trying to. It's like a dragon, you know. A dragon is very powerful. You can try to ride it, uh, and you know, do good things with it, or it can go wild, and then you get a fire from it. So
mm,
I think it's
mm.
a bit like that with AI. It's very powerful, and we need to tame the dragon, or we might be in trouble.
I like this analogy. I like it. Well, Bertrand, I think we came to the end of our episode. We have not covered a lot of things. There's a lot of subjects we can talk about, but time is up, and I want to really thank you for being here, for being you are, Bertrand, authentic, transparent, and sharing quite a bit of your pain and journey and even moments of success with with our viewers and audience. And actually, one thing I forgot to mention: were you really going bankrupt 7 times?
Oh yeah, yeah,
There you
yes.
go.
7 times I didn't know how to make payroll. So because so yeah, maybe I can go a bit on this. Is more like because you know I mentioned that one of the reasons the investor got in 2014 was because of the Oculus acquisition. Um,
Yes.
and what happened is that we kind of lost a year because of that. We tried to raise in 2013, we couldn't, and then we was finally in 2014. And what was really hard was that, as I mentioned, we were planning to do a Kickstarter and raise our Series A, and because the Kickstarter didn't work, it kind of postponed a bit the Series A. And what happened is that there was a lot of smart investors who understood the space, but they already made bets in their competitors. So
Okay.
even though we had a very innovative product and different approach, and they would try the demo, and they were like, "Oh wow, this is really great." A lot of them said, "Look, we invested in your competitor, we cannot." Uh, so we had to rely a lot on angels that
Mm,
either knew me from a long time and believed in us, or people who tried the demo and were like, "Oh wow, this is really great," and I want to be part of the adventure. Um, but when you raise 100K at a time, you don't have much runway.
yes. Yes.
so
Of course.
so like for 18 months, I was like pitching all the time, and would raise like 100K, 50K at a time. So it was exhausting. I didn't sleep well for 18 months. And 7 times I didn't know how to make payroll. Um, so but also like the struggle, I think made me a better salesman, uh, a better listener also. Like when people tell you no a lot, you try to learn from. I think you learn more from your mistakes than from
Of
your
course. Of
success.
course.
So there was a lot of failures along the way, and I think that made me a better person. So so yeah, I think if you're, but you need to convince, and
Yes.
you need a bit of also prove them wrong. There was so many people that said no, so that gave me also a lot of drive to prove them wrong. So yeah, you need passionate, need a bit of ego also to keep you alive and all that. Yeah.
Nice. Well, again, amazing journey. And really, if I summarize the story, it's a story of persistence, imagination, and purpose. So well done. Thank you for sharing it. And for all
Thank
of
you.
us listening, it's a reminder legacy isn't built in a straight line, it's always in pivots, persistence, and the ability to reimagine yourself when circumstances change. Bertrand, again, thank you for joining us. It's been an inspiring conversation. And to our viewers and audience, if this episode sparked something in you, share it with someone who's building their own path. And remember, your influence goes beyond your title. This is Reimagining You. I'm Dr. Eli Daher. See you on the next episode next Thursday, 5 p.m. Dubai time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellie.